right, go the gentleman from Pennsylvania. Mr. Meuser is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Thank you, Administrator. Good to see you. One of the concerning topics that I have, and before this committee, was the rule change on the SBA regarding small business lending companies, where a lender will receive the government guarantees when underwriting small businesses. When you testified here last year, March 23rd, 2023, you assured us the SBA had sufficient oversight capabilities. In fact, responding to a question from Ranking Member Velasquez, who asked, have you heard concerns with allowing unregulated companies associated with significant fraud into a federally guaranteed program? Your response was, and I'm paraphrasing, I know that the SBA has a rigorous application process, so I am not concerned, and we intend to hold any business that wants to participate to their performance, to their underwriting standards for transparency, et cetera. So not soon after that, well, let me ask this. In your view, are all companies subject to this rigorous application process in light of the example of Funding Circle, where the CEO recently, 2 weeks ago, stated how all of their losses, their mounting losses, which have existed for the last couple of years, and Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit their income statement for the record.
Without objection.
Funding Circle, thank you. Would require significant capital. He says, I mean, you saw all of our losses over the last several years, so the SBA program, what we don't believe will be the best use of our capital to invest in those loans in the U.S. business. So it's a pretty easy question to ask. Why would the SBA approve such an organization that had such mounting losses and in the end, an unwillingness even to serve? When, by the way, it was just one of 3 that was approved. It wasn't like there were 400 and this was one. This was one of 3. So if you would explain.
Yes, I would. And Funding Circle, just for the record as well, is fully capitalized in its U.S. operations based in Colorado. And so, they're in a strong position in terms of being able to deliver against their mission of small dollar lending. They continue to work with the SBA in the licensing process. It's not finalized at this point. Obviously, it was awarded, but they still have to go through our rigorous application process. And we still are continuing to work with them. Their intention is to start lending with the SBA program in the coming weeks.
Well, do they own it? So in other words, if they intend to sell their U.S. business, can they also sell their SBLC license?
We have currently, and for years, for decades now, 14 SBLCs that have turned hands. They go through the same rigorous licensing process when those licenses are sold. So it would be the same process.
In all due respect,
it would be the same process.
Continue to say the due diligence on choosing them was rigorous.
And they have intended to maintain that license within their U.S. operations.
You do recall that we had issues, both sides, everyone here, on the speed that we were moving forward with such licensing. And then yet we are pointing out a failure from one of 3. And you can't help but bring back last year's testimony where everyone in this committee had real concerns about the speed and why this was being done as quickly as it was. In fact, Patrick Kelly sat here telling us how important it was to move forward with these companies, and meanwhile, it clearly in this case did not work out. It didn't work out for him either.
So to take us back a little bit to that too, note that we have still persistent gaps in the marketplace for startups, for underserved markets overall, in rural deserts around the country. Our SBLCs perform, those 14 that have historically been perform to fill market gaps. Our goal is to expand that program, adding 3 licenses for the first time in 40 years on an existing program. We viewed that as a responsible expansion, not opening the floodgates, but obviously a responsible expansion by adding 3 new lenders into the program. And we're comfortable to continue to work with Funding Circle's U.S. operations.
Hopefully the level of comfort isn't as high as it was before. Hopefully there's some healthy paranoia taking place that we don't want this to happen again. I want to ask you about something else I find very concerning, and that is the President's executive order on demanding and helping people, however you want to put it, businesses, encouraging them to register and to vote and et cetera. Can you provide this committee every email and every official correspondence to small businesses and interagency on those discussions related to requesting, enticing companies to register?
I'll put in that request to my team, and we'll follow up with you directly, yes.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields back. Time's expired. With that, we go to